Hello taste buds, don't ever buy a tasteless prepared dip again. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein and don't buy one again because I've got chili con queso, romesco, and spinach and artichoke dips, all good enough to double dip today on SoFlo Taste. This is South Florida. It's where I live and work. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. South Florida is more than sun, sand, and sea. It's a lifestyle of fashion, sound, culture, and of course, food. Food with taste from all over the world. Join me as we celebrate the food of South Florida and the people who love it. Join me as we experience SoFlo Taste. Welcome Taste Buds, I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. Welcome to our home here at the Goya Kitchen at JA World in Coconut Creek. Even though we don't attend cocktail parties these days, you can still get rave reviews from your family or just enjoy by yourself a great dip while begrudgingly watch the only thing you haven't watched on Netflix. So today I thought I'd give you 3 recipes for great dips. So let's get cooking. The first recipe is actually kind of a copy of that good old, artichoke spinach dip that we get at some of our favorite restaurants. So I'm going to try to recreate that. We're going to take some jarred or canned drained artichokes, throw them into a food processor, some Parmesan, and some pecorino. Let's run the processor just a little bit, pulse it. Now let's add the rest of the ingredients. I've got some blanched spinach that's been cut up, but you can always use frozen spinach in place of that. I love to have sauteed onions in my dips. It's up to you if you want it in there or not, but I just love it. It's almost to the point of caramelization. A little bit of sour cream. Some half and half. And then finally, it's up to you if you want to use cheddar, jack, mozzarella, go for it. Whatever white cheese you like. And again, pulse. I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper to this. I'm a little afraid of salt, mainly because of all the different cheeses, so I think I'm going to refrain. Go ahead and take your processor off and add all the contents of your processor into a bowl, and any kind of a bowl or dish that can be heated in a 350 to 375 degree oven. Just like so. All right, spread it out. I'll put that in the oven, come right back. We're gonna go get some tortilla chips and get this party started. For more information on today's show, or to see a previous episode, or just to ask me a question, please go to our website, SoFloTaste.com. It's your one-stop shop for everything SoFlo Taste.
Come back to the Goya Kitchen at JA World. Michelle and the food. This is SoFlo Taste.
Welcome back to my scoop on dip, SoFlo Taste. By the way, as always, I am practicing physical distancing here at the Goya Kitchen JA World, so I'm not wearing a mask, but everyone here is. Thank you, crew. Masks up, SoFlo. I love you guys. All right, so our next dip is chili con queso. I am making a ground beef, and then we are going to melt all kinds of good cheese into this. It's just trashy and delicious. I'm so excited. So here I have ground beef. Thank you to Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. They have the freshest, most beautiful ground beef. It's so crazy. You know, I make a lot of like picadillo and empanada fillings, and their ground beef is so fine. It's so easy to crumble, And that's so important when you're looking for ground beef. Anyway, so that's already been cooking with some onion. I'm gonna add a little bit of minced garlic and some fresh jalapenos. Once that just starts to kind of soften up a little bit, start adding some chili powder, a tiny pinch of cayenne, and just a little bit of cumin. I think there is cumin already in chili powder, but I like cumin, so I'm just gonna add a little more. And you know who loves cumin is my son. It's really weird, he adores cumin. But it's a Latin home, so I guess he's used to the flavor. Once those spices become really fragrant, which they are, they're really in my face, go ahead and add your tomatoes. These are canned fire roast tomatoes that are just simply chopped. You know what, I'm gonna take a quick look at our spinach artichoke dip and see how it's doing. Oh, it's already turning golden on the top. Yep, that's about what we're looking for. So that's ready. And I would definitely serve it with a tortilla chip. You can see how cheesy and delicious that is. Just gorgeous. Mmm, oh yummy. I did good. Okay, let's keep going. All right, so this tomato has cooked for a little bit, but they're already fire roasted tomatoes, so you don't have to do too much. Let's go ahead and add some evaporated milk, which is, by the way, really stable. It almost never breaks, which is why you use it in things like this. We're waiting for that all to come to a boil. You want to pull everything into the center, make sure it's really well combined. And just like the spinach artichoke, which by the way, I'm glad I didn't add any salt to, this has a lot of cheese as well. I think I would just do a really, really minimal amount right now, but really small, because it has Jack and it has Velveeta, which are really salty cheeses. So as you see, this is really bubbling up a lot. We went ahead and roasted some poblano chilies. Now you can find green hatch chilies canned, but I really like to use fresh roasted, so these are just fresh roasted poblanos that have already been peeled. And some of them have heat to them and some don't. You never really know. It's like roulette. They smell like they have a lot of heat to them though. All right, the last thing you're gonna add are the cheeses. And let's go ahead and fold everything in, and then we're gonna go right into the oven again. So we've gone really American. This is tipping our heads to a bit of a southwestern flavor, and our last dip will be directly from Spain. All right, so this is well mixed. I'm gonna go ahead and place it into the oven, let everything melt and get all gooey, and then we will start our last recipe, so come right back. To get a taste of what we made on today's show, at least two-dimensionally, go to SoFloTaste.com. It's the be-all, end-all of SoFlo Taste. Celebrate the food of South Florida at SoFloTaste.com. It's the place to ask me a question or make a comment, especially good comments. Again, SoFloTaste.com. Now back to the cooking. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. We're here at JA World in Coconut Creek. For information about this wonderful place and what they do here for our kids, even during a pandemic, go to jasouthflorida.org or call 954-979-7100. Now back to the scoop-on dips. All right, so this last recipe, like I said, comes from Spain, and it is called Romesco. One of my favorite recipes. It is so versatile. It can be used as a dip, which we're doing today. I have all kinds of vegetables on the grill, some raw things over here that would dip really well with it. Traditionally, it goes with leeks that are buried and roasted on the top with fire and cooked and dipped into this gorgeous Romesco. But it also goes really well with fish. One of my favorite things is like a roast salmon on Romesco. But today we're using it as a dip, and it's just so yummy. So let's jump right into it. Don't let me forget about these gorgeous zucchini and yellow squash I have over here, as well as a couple of leeks and some eggplant. I just drizzled a little bit of oil on it, and I have salt and pepper. The raw ingredients are some baby carrots, as well as some yummy fennel. For the Romesco, we're going to start out with a tomato that has been roasted either on a grill in a very hot oven or just seared without any oil in a pan until it really gets blackened all over and the peel comes right off. So all we're going to do is we're going to cut right into that and cut it right into a food processor. You can use a blender if you want to, but I decided on a food processor to keep it a little more chunky than usual. I like it when it's chunkier for a dip and when it's a little more smooth when I'm serving it with fish. Okay, they'll go right in there. And then I have piquillo peppers, and piquillo peppers are a roasted Spanish small pepper, very sweet. This is it, look how tiny they are. You can also use just a roast pepper. You can roast it yourself, or you can buy a roasted pepper. It's really up to you. Try to make it red though, so that the Romesco stays a nice orangey red color. Then the last of these ingredients that I have roasted is 1 jalapeno pepper. And this again can be roasted on a grill, charred on a pan without oil, or in a very hot oven, and the peel comes right off. Now it's really up to you. If you want a spicy Romesco, you keep all the seeds on the inside. And let me cut right into this. Or you can just use the outside of the chili. So here are the seeds and the veins of the pepper, and that is really where the heat comes from. And I like to keep a little bit of the seed in there because I like it a little bit spicy, but not too spicy. So I'm going to take a bit of the heart out, which really has the veins and the seeds, and I'm going to leave a little bit in there as well. Okay, moving on. We've got toasted baguette. You just cut up any bread that you might have at home, toast it in a nice low oven for a long time so that it's really crispy. Okay, because this is going to be the binder of the Romesco. All right, moving on. It needs a little bit of sautéed garlic and shallot, so let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to take some olive oil. And then here I have some cut up shallot and garlic, not too fine. I'm going to throw that right in there. Moving on with ingredients, I have picked Italian parsley. This is a good amount of it. You really want it to be nice and herbaceous. Romesco usually has some kind of a nut in it, sometimes hazelnuts, which are very delicious, toasted hazelnuts, but I love Marcona almonds in my Romesco. I just don't think there's anything better. Marcona almonds usually come like this, which are oiled and salted, which is, let's face it, the best snacking almond there is, but it's also delicious for salsas, gazpachos, and Romesco. A little bit of sherry vinegar, just a little, don't go too much. I would prefer you go a little and then a little more later, because if you add too much, it's really going to be a little too acidic. I'll keep that nearby just in case. Let's see how our vegetables are doing. Oh, they're beautifully tender. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting all the vegetables here on the platter, because what you can do with this romesco, you can dip all these delicious raw and cooked vegetables right into it. Yummy. Our shallots and our garlic are starting to become translucent. I'm going to add them and all of its delicious oil right into the food processor. Our zucchinis are soft. Our yellow squash is nice and tender as well. Our eggplant is also really tender and juicy. The leeks are golden, which means they're nice and crispy and delicious. Leeks are delicious, and I feel like it's one of those vegetables that's forgotten about it a little bit. Just so good. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the food processor. Before I even begin, I'm just going to add some salt and pepper. And I keep some water around because usually you need a little bit of water for your romesco. You know what? I'm going to take a peek at our chile con queso. Ooh, it looks good. It needs like another 5 minutes. All right. I'm going to add the tiniest bit of water while it's running. Now I'm going to add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil while it's running. Let's give it a little taste and see how we did. It's better than I thought it would even be. Woo, that's so, oh my God, it's right on. That's so good. I can't complain. All right, I'm kind of happy right now. Come right back and we'll put all this together, and then let's see how the chile con queso came out. Smells pretty dangerous.
Hi, I'm design expert Elena Capra. Michelle will be right back. And don't forget, stay tuned for another episode of SoFlo Home Project following SoFlo Taste.
Welcome back to SoFlo Taste and our show all about dips. Let's go ahead and get our beautiful melting queso out of the oven, our chile con queso. Yeehaw! Yeah, that looks pretty darn good. That's kind of a microphone drop. I have very little else to say. So I would serve that with tortilla chips. If you want to do something nice, you can add a little bit of cilantro right at the top. And there you have it. Look how beautiful our romesco turned out. And this is just, it's so inviting. You know, you've got all these gorgeous vegetables and that beautiful romesco. I've run out of time and recipes for another week. Thank you so much for watching. As I've told you before, if it weren't for you taste buds at home, I'd just been making lunch for the crew. Hey. Next week, I'm sure you've always thought that we chefs have secrets to making food taste better. Well, we do. I'll give you some of my best secrets to make food taste better, but you've got to promise you won't tell. Now let's check in with design expert Elena Capra to see what's coming up next on SoFlo Home Project. Hi, Elena.
Hi, Michelle. Good morning. So, I'm not really scared of bugs. Well, as long as they stay outside of the home, Coming up on SoFlo Home Project, we take a look on how to keep those pesky critters out of your house.
So taste buds, be smart, be safe, and be well. And I'll see you next week. And always, please support your local growers and restaurants. They need it. Goodbye, good health, and very good taste. Double dip.